I'm sippin', 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 I'm sippin'.
Sippin', I'm 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 sippin'.
This is Sippin' with Sammie, Sam Malone, Barstool, Rug. If you ain't sippin' with Sammie, you ain't sippin' right. Please get your fucking life together. It'll be 2023 already, and you wouldn't have had a shot yet. And I'm in this situation with the Gretchen Emery Band. How y'all doing?
Good. Yay.
Love the energy. Love the energy. Thanks for having us in your home.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for coming to our
More
home.
than
Appreciate it. You got a nice little setup. The drums was already in position when we got here, so you know what that
They even
means.
came with a drummer.
We made Tim show up early just to make sure everything was all right.
So you guys usually rehearse today?
Yeah,
No.
this is our rehearsal. He doesn't rehearse. The
Oh,
rest of us
he
rehearse.
doesn't need rehearsal.
Yeah. No, he don't need rehearsal.
So, of course, this is Gretchen. Care to introduce the rest of the band to the people, please?
Yes. So this is Kenny Wendell, my husband and guitar player for a long, long time. Tim Elliott, our drummer. And Randy Waters, our bass player.
Awesome. How long have you guys been a collective?
Ooh. I think Tim joined the band a year ago. I think it was
Recent?
July last year when we
So
did
stressful.
it was Record Store Day. And Randy, has it been 2 years?
It's
3
not.
years?
It's been close.
It's been close. It's been about 2 years for Randy. But Randy and I go way, way back. We've known each other 25 or 30 years.
Awesome. So, Gretchen Emery Band. Clearly, you're the star.
Yep.
You're the name.
Absolutely.
You're the name on the moniker. You're the name that everybody who came to the stage was asking about. Even though they were asking for the band, it starts with your name. But let's start there. Actually, I met you guys a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
2nd Street Festival.
It was great too.
Yeah, I had a great time. I was hosting and managing the stage. I had the pleasure of being on the same stage with you guys.
Yeah.
And you guys came with your own table, with merch,
Yep.
mugs, and all of
We
that,
had all our merch.
which I love. I love that. And you guys rocked out.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I had a great time watching you guys. I loved the energy. I loved the professionalism also, because trust me, it makes my job easier when everybody knows what they're supposed to do. I don't know how to fix the drums. You know what I mean? I don't know how to do anything but, hey, can y'all make some noise? And I do that.
Yeah.
I do that.
And you did it well.
Thank you. But
Yeah, you really made us feel welcome.
did I?
Thank you.
No, I was glad to
Yeah,
be
it
able
was
to.
easy. Yeah,
I was glad to be able to. How did you guys feel about your overall set that day? Like, what were the high points of it, do you think?
Wow. So, first of all, I personally, very thrilled and grateful that we got the opportunity to play at 2nd Street Festival. So that's first and foremost.
Because that's a legendary festival in the city.
It is, and it was a beautiful day. It was hot, but that's all right. And tons of people. I feel like I always want to go out on any stage wherever we perform and just kill it. Just give everything I've got, 110%, and leave nothing behind. And I feel like we did that. I feel like we had a lot of fun. It's rock and roll. It's live music. You're always gonna have those little things that
That could have went a little smoother. But did they notice?
No.
Exactly.
And usually we're the only ones, I think, that notice, and I think we had fun, right?
I know we had fun.
It seemed,
you
it
guys
seemed
just-
like it to me, and it seemed like all the folks that were there at the festival were having a good time and dancing and shooting
There was
video,
a lot of positive
paying
energy there.
attention.
A lot of
Absolutely.
real positive energy.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and they were attentive. The crowds were attentive. I saw a lot of people that stood there for a few acts in the heat, watching and dancing, and the girl with the hula hoop, the lady on the stilts, the girl on the skates. It was a lot for me to look at from the stage.
Yeah, it was a supportive atmosphere all the way around. Like, I feel like all of the other bands were very friendly with each other and supportive of one another. Yeah, very diverse.
Definitely diverse. Definitely, actually more diverse than I expected. And I've been to these things in that area, and I actually was pleasantly surprised.
Right.
Pleasantly surprised at that. Now I see on your Instagram there's an article that you're gonna let me read later.
I'll let you.
because we had
I'll let
we had a mishap with that. But it says nurse turns trauma into how did the rest of the headline go? Nurse turns trauma into.
I
Let me look it up.
am sorry to say I can't remember the rest of the headline.
No, that's cool. I'll find it.
Turns trauma
Into
music healing.
nurse rock singer transformed trauma loss into new album and deep friendships.
That was it. Exactly.
Sheesh.
Yeah, just like
Sheesh.
that.
So your
Yeah.
background is nursing. You have
My
a nursing
is
background.
nursing. So we should back up for a minute.
Yeah.
And because there's one person we didn't introduce.
Okay.
Who's not up here.
Okay.
And that's Lisa Carnley. who's
Over there. Hey.
Hey,
off
Lisa.
camera. She's waving.
It's all right. She on camera now.
Oh, she's on camera. See? You can run, but you can't hide.
So
Not
there's-
when you're sipping with Sammie.
Come on, Lisa.
Mm, she's all right. She got
No,
it.
can't do
good.
her.
But
But yeah. Is it okay? Well, yeah. It's in the article.
I'm about to say it's news now.
I have spent my career as a nurse, and I met Lisa because I was taking care of her son who has special needs.
Mhm.
And he was 2 when I started taking care of him, and just yesterday he turned 27.
Happy
So,
birthday. God
happy
bless.
birthday, Corey.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
that was a big deal. And Corey was one of many kids that I took care of during my career,
Mhm.
some of whom were born with conditions that don't give them a very long life expectancy.
Mhm.
So there were kids who I had cared for over the years who passed away when they were very, very young, and that was difficult. That was really difficult.
I'd imagine.
And one of those children who passed away when he was less than 2 years old became the inspiration for one of our songs, Addie, which was the first song that Kenny and I had written together.
Dope.
And yeah, so I think that's, the headline speaking to
Twas.
all of that. The writing of that song and those lyrics in particular kind of, helped to work with those emotions
Mhm.
of that loss.
Mhm.
And I think, deep loss, losing someone that you love and care about
Mhm.
is something everybody can relate to.
Yes.
And so we found other areas in our lives as well where Addie as a song had relevance. So that's where the trauma and turning that into one of the songs in our album, and the deep friendships over 25 years.
It's a great story, but I mean, I make music too, and I know sometimes we always want to be intentional with what we're putting out, but sometimes we're just having fun, and sometimes we stumble across a vibe and we go with it. But when you intentionally saying, I want to put these emotions, these feelings, this sentiment into this record, and it impacts others to the fact where now they're writing articles about the success and, what impact it had, that has to be fulfilling. That has to be awesome and like a thrill.
Yeah, we had an experience
Even
recently
from a dark place.
where a friend of ours listened to the song Addie on our EP and called and said, I have to know. It wasn't a friend. It was somebody we had just met. That's right.
Yeah.
And said, who is Addie?
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a reaction there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you say, as far as relatability, even people that haven't lost someone close to them, and God bless them if they haven't,
Yeah.
they understand the fear of it.
Absolutely.
Sure.
You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
sure.
Like
Yeah,
there's a
human.
part of it that has to resonate no matter what. It's like you say,
Yeah.
it's human.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
human.
But it's humbling, what you just said about, having that come to fruition, having, getting some news about it, or having strangers really come back to us and say, tell us more.
And now this child's
That's really humbling.
2-year life has a legacy with legs on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's dope. I like that. I like that a lot.
Cool.
So how long has everybody been rocking since y'all all got together recently? How long has everybody been playing their position apart?
I started late in life, was about 19. So let me see. Roughly 50 years, because I'm 70 now. And so I've been playing a long time. Came up in the Philadelphia music scene, playing with some really great musicians.
Right.
And some really crazy people.
You're going to get both.
Yeah.
You're going to get both.
Philly's like that. you know?
Exactly. Every day.
Yeah. You develop a good sense of awareness. So, yeah, anyway. And there's Tim.
All my life, my mom was a choir director. I grew up in church. She was choir director of church all my life. So
Tim, why you look like a fireman?
You know what we call him? That's ICEMAN.
That's ICEMAN. Tim look like a
Not the
fireman.
first person to say that.
But you said your mom. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Do you want to come join us?
It really felt like, when I look back, it looked like when they used to come speak to you at the camp.
Yeah,
you had a fire
there you go.
safety. That's how he looked at me, like when he was just talking. Fireman Tim. But what'd you say? Your mom did what?
my mom was choir director of church, so I grew up in church playing instruments. Yeah, so.
And the
My
drums
older
was
brother-
first.
My older brother and my uncle were both drummers, so since I was an infant, I was sitting on my brother and my uncle's knee playing. So piano, trombone, whatever. So gave it all up for the drums once I got old enough to tell her I didn't want to play anything but the drums.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. What about you?
Oh man, since I was 13, 14, so about Christmas of 1979.
Oh, look out, man. Wow.
Mom got me a bass, and I was actually interviewed one time, and it started. I said, hate to admit it, I said, but I actually lied, and not to my mom, but yeah, so they joined a band and needed a bass player. It was like probably around like middle school, in the middle school. Oh yeah, I can play bass. You know, and, you know, sort of like if you look at South Park, was it? You're black, you can play bass.
Right.
But the thing is my mom got me a bass for Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
but I really took lessons and everything else. I'm like,
It was Charlie Brown, right? The black guy played the bass in Charlie Brown.
oh, no, what's his name? No, it escapes me. But anyway, you know, got lessons and everything else, took it, and then probably around 1981 when MTV came out, I was done. I was like, that's it. Told my parents that when I get 18, I'm taking all my money or whatever. Well, I didn't have any, and then I'm moving, taking my bass, I'm moving to England.
I'm
But
taking
you
my
still
bass
here,
to
so-
England. You always been bold because nobody lies about playing the bass. Like, how do you pull that off? Like, even the drums, you be like, well, I can kind of figure that out. You don't just figure out the bass. Like,
Yeah, that's true. You know, people have asked me over the years, do you play bass? I say, no, I have too much respect for the instrument.
you have to.
It's a completely
Different thing.
different thing. I sound like a guitar player who's trying to play bass. Randy is a bass player.
There's that.
No, I respect it. But that was a bold lie. You was
it was.
what we call the vicious young boy.
Look, I had to make good on it, so
No, but you
You knew
did.
you were a bass player.
That's the
You
thing.
knew
You might be some foresight in that.
yeah.
It came to fruition.
I guess something else to me at the time, but again, like after MTV came out, like I want to be a musician. That's it.
Why England?
Because at that time, like all of my favorite acts were all English. It seemed to me like all the bassists were doing something. If you listen to like Kaja Gulu, Spandau Ballet, and everything else like that, and then also I was getting a lot of things were hitting me at that same time. So like jazz fusion, I'm listening to like Stanley Clarke, and a bunch of other reggae was coming into play for me, and so a lot of
Influence.
influences were hitting me all at once. So, but the vast majority of them
Was over there.
coming out of England. So I gotta go. I gotta do it. And I said, look, if Chrissy Hynde from Ohio could do it, why can't
I
There
mean,
you go.
I'm not mad. I just never envisioned myself living over there, like ever, ever, even in
that
adulthood.
He's got goals.
Yeah, even in adulthood. So it's like you really thought in a bold manner, like whether you realize it or not.
Yeah, parents weren't having it, but
I mean,
that was my vision. So
like just
Consequently, he'll go anywhere.
Just like
Don't go anywhere.
just like Tim with the instruments. As soon as you old enough to say fuck it, you allowed to.
That's it.
There you go.
The only problem I had with London was, man, they drive on the wrong fucking side of the street.
You never got used to it.
No. Just because you driving there, I'm not. I'm driving on the right side of the street.
Oh man,
That sounds
Wheels
great.
on the wrong side.
that's the most rock star shit you can say.
Yeah. Oh, stick around.
Right. Hey, that's how we do North Philly, right?
I don't care if
girlfriend?
the whole country is driving this way. I'm not. I think I just wouldn't drive at all. Now, what about you? Where does
About me.
your story begin with the rocker?
Ooh. Well,
As the rocker.
as the rocker, well, I've always loved singing. Always from the time I was little. Came from a musical family. My mom had a beautiful voice. And in high school, I played the flute. I was in the marching band, the concert band, all that. I wasn't in chorus. Still liked to sing, but it just, didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
And after high school, after I gone to college and I was out working, I just started kind of showing up at these, out at bars with my friends. And there was one particular guy we used to see named Larry Rooney in Delaware, and he was sort of just like a one-man show. He had a huge songbook, and he sang and played acoustic guitar, and we showed up every week to see him. And I don't really know why or how, but at a certain point, I just sort of went up and said to him, like, "Hey, can I like play the tambourine while you're playing?" I just kind of like inched my way on stage. And I'm playing the tambourine, and then I'm squeezing over to his mic and starting to do some backups. And
He ain't elbow you?
And that no, he was thank you, Larry Rooney.
Such a
He
sweetheart.
gave me my start in rock and roll, dude. You didn't even know. No, and then it kind of went from there, and I just met some people, musicians in the area, Mary Archer, and just started playing and singing with people I was meeting, and then I was on that trajectory.
Yeah.
And,
I'm glad you mentioned the
kept on
flute.
going.
You ain't never put the flute down, huh?
I never put the flute down.
You pulled it out.
Maybe briefly.
You pulled it out the other day,
Yeah.
and I think everybody besides y'all was shocked.
Most people don't expect it.
It came
Most
out of
people don't
nowhere,
expect
and it was like, oh, she's killing it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's jamming.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the flute, huh?
Yeah.
Never wanted to play wind instruments. I never. It take a lot.
But this is your instrument, people, relationships.
Thank you.
It
Thank
really
you.
is.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
We were attracted to you, like, you were just very gracious to us, made us feel welcome. We've played our fair share of festivals, and that's not always the case, my friend.
Well, like I said, before y'all got there, Gretchen had already texted me about 2-3 times and made sure
Welcome to
And-
my world.
and then you guys were
I gotta
super
find
early,
Sam. I don't
and
know who Sam is. I gotta find Sam.
I appreciated that because, like I said, remember I said the professionalism. Like, I knew that y'all weren't going to be a headache as soon as y'all got there, and even speaking to Gretchen and saying that I was going to keep in contact with you guys, the first thing I said was, "Well, you got my phone number already," and she was like, "Oh, you're right, I do." Like, yeah, you definitely was already texting me.
Right.
Well, and thanks to Kay for
Mm-hmm.
being so organized and putting all the information out there ahead of time, and so that we had phone numbers for everybody before we showed up. I mean,
But even with
it's a
that,
huge
like,
help.
you might be the only one that read it because I didn't know that everybody had my
Oh, no,
phone
I
number.
was waiting for that email. I was like, should I email her and ask her, like, what the deal is? But nope, she was on it. Thanks for booking us, Kay.
You should tell him the story of how we started working together musically. It's
You
interesting.
want to hear that story?
Yeah.
He does, so I do.
Okay. Well, he tells his own version. But actually, it started in this very room. So, years ago, I was married to someone else. We actually had a band together for a period of time. Kenny was married to someone else. And when the band that I was in with my husband Mike at that time, that band broke up, and he went off into a band called Days Alone, who played in this region.
Yeah, they
and
were
they were
great, too.
very popular, and they were so good, sort of this ska funk punk core thing. And that's how I met Randy. We're gonna segue away from him for a second, but we'll get back. Don't worry.
It's all right. He gets plenty of attention.
Trust me. And so Randy was in a band at the time, My Body, My Blood, I think.
My Body, My Blood,
And-
Gangster Pump.
And
Girl.
My Body, My Blood, and a band called Gangster Pump and Days Alone all kind of hung out together. So that's how Randy and I met initially. Anyway, Mike goes to play in Days Alone. I go off to play in a cover band called the Condors. And that was my first like actual band outside of just creating a band with Mike at the time. And we needed a guitar player. So we actually held auditions here in this room.
Dope.
This floor was empty because this house used to be 2 apartments. And Mike and I lived upstairs, and we were getting ready to move downstairs, and we had just bought the house, and we were going to rent out
The upstairs.
the upstairs. So we said, hey, this is the perfect spot to hold auditions because it's empty.
Right.
So we had people come over for guitar auditions. I had to run an errand before the audition started. I'm on my way back. I'm sitting out at the traffic light waiting to turn back into the neighborhood. And there's this car in front of me. And it was the ugliest colored green on a car I think I have ever seen. And my initial thought was, I hope that car's not going to my house.
When you hope a car is not going to your house,
That's it. you
that
know.
says a lot.
You know it's going to your house. And I followed that car to my house, and out came Kenny. And Kenny auditioned for the band, and he played maybe 1 song, 2 songs, not much.
2 songs.
And he decided it wasn't for him. So he packed up his stuff, and I walk him out, thanks for coming and that kind of thing. And he said, look, I don't want to take you away from your friends or anything, but if you ever, want to do something a little more focused, I think
that's
is
a good
how
way
you
to put
it. He said, let me know. And I'm just going to stop right there and say, that Condors helped me a lot. That was my first, kind of real group. They gave me a chance. I knew no songs. Well, I knew one. I knew Summertime. That was it. And I learned everything else there. They gave me a chance. They gave me a platform. The guitar player who left us to go earn his PhD, Mark Carney, he helped me learn how to develop a stage presence. So I owe a lot to the Condors, and they've been very supportive over the years. And even Mike McDowell and Des Kahn were at our EP release party back in July. So grateful for that platform. And in any event, Kenny said, look, I don't want to take you from your friends, but, let me know if you ever want to do anything else down the line. We don't talk. We don't talk for ever again.
Like 8, 9 months, something like that.
I had an infant and needed one of those late night runs to the grocery store for diapers, and ran into Kenny at the grocery store.
I wasn't out looking for diapers.
What was you looking for?
Probably popcorn or
Looking
something.
for you.
Trouble.
He was looking for you. Trouble.
You found it.
Exactly.
So,
He was looking for exactly what he got.
so that was it. And he said, I'm putting a project together. We need a singer. And I said, count me in. And even then, I was still, wanting to do more, but still pretty early in my development of confidence.
But you
on
had your own
stage.
car, so you wouldn't have to ride with him.
And we we have to finish that part of the story.
Right.
My car broke down.
She didn't have.
So what did she wind up driving?
So I had to
That
borrow that
green
ugly ass
car?
green
The little
car.
Skittle mobile.
Yeah, the little skittle car.
Oh,
I
how
was
sweet!
never more grateful
Yeah.
for a car.
That's
And,
karma.
That was full circle.
That's karma.
Absolutely.
Well, we worked together
Absolutely.
for a long time as, musical partners, friends, and, our friendship grew over the years. We went through a lot of stuff as friends together. But I have a slightly more,
I want to hear it.
well, I have to be careful how I say this, okay? So anyway, I came
She's in her
in,
arm's length.
I was playing it.
Both of them.
I had just moved down from Philly. I was in a job and I had to transfer down here. Big mistake in my life. 10 years in corporate America, bad move. But anyway.
Had those conversations.
Yeah, man, I tried. I gave it my best. But anyway, so I'm down here and I'm playing with this local guitar player who unfortunately has passed on.
God bless.
Now, Kenny Jones. And her drummer asked me if I would come over and said, would you come over and consider this band? So I came over and she's over there in the corner singing through this little amp. Yeah, just kind of standing over there like this. And long fire engine, red hair. And I was like, wow, this girl, there's something there. So when we went out, and I usually put a lot more expletives in this, but when we went outside, I did say, I don't want to take you from your friends, but if you ever want to do something with a little bit more focus, because, I had just come out of the Philly music scene, and, I had been in many recording studios. Not that I was all that, but
you
I had
wasn't
been
trying to waste
around
your
the
time.
business. Yeah. Please do not waste my time, and we ran into each other at the store that night, and, I'll leave all the gory details out of that, but so we put a band
What
together.
gory details?
Right.
It was the grocery store.
Yeah.
Which store
That's
were you
what-
at?
Yeah, like
I
these are
got
two
diapers,
completely
man.
different stories. I never knew the market got gory.
I didn't either.
So anyway, we put a band
Parking
together
lot?
called
Oh.
Red House. Yeah, and we did pretty well for
Red House was cool.
that, and that's when I saw Gretchen. We had a contract at Warm Daddies up in Philadelphia, which was
The old
I've
Warm
hosted-
Dad.
that was a
hosted
big
that.
deal back then. I mean,
When it was on Front Street.
and we had a love-hate relationship with them. We loved them. I think Ben didn't hate
Oh, I
us.
don't think. Yeah.
Ben was cool, but anyway, we were like a rock blues band. We're doing Government Mule, Jeff Beck,
Cream.
Cream, and we're in there. And people trying to eat dinner, and I'm rolling in there with my half-stack Saldano amplifiers, turning them on 10. And Ben's like, "Kenny, are you gonna play some blues tonight?" The only reason they tolerated us is that we sold it out, and that was because of her. We sold it out every time we played there. So he would. Ben, being the sweetheart that he was, he tolerated us for about 6 months, something like that.
We were there for a while. I don't know.
It's not bad.
And when we
was
parted
a long
ways,
run.
when we parted ways with Ben, it was very pleasant. I mean,
Easy now.
he had to, he had to move on to more traditional blues acts. But he gave us a shot.
We had a shot.
Yeah,
it
and
was
that's
good.
where Gretchen really, really started blossoming as a performer. And it was like, wow, I knew she had a great voice and had the potential to be a great R&B, rock singer, whatever you want to call it, whatever genre you want to put it in. But for her, performing is an art form. Me, I'm just the guy up there. You put me behind the amps, I'll play. I don't, performing is not my thing.
No, we just tell him where to show up.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like, come on.
her and Randy
It's
are the
okay.
two. They're the two to watch on stage. Those two to get together and they start rocking.
I watched everybody, but go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's how we met. We've been doing it together for a long time now. So
For a long time.
some
and then
successful bands, some not successful
Art.
bands.
I've heard a lot of little highlights in there. Her in the corner through the amp, just learning stage presence from him to the development through the Warm Daddy situation. It's funny because you really seem like a natural. And I know hard work gets you there. You know what I mean? I know you could get there through practice and just running your course, but I would never think that. I would thought that was the thing that originally was your strong suit.
I think I think it is. I think it's always been in there.
Yeah, you
I've
just
been a performer in different ways.
It just had to
throughout my
blossom.
life.
Yeah.
In high school, in the pom pom squad, in the band front. Being out there. That felt right. That was fun. Just like fronting the band. Feels right. I didn't know much about it. I didn't. I did have to learn how to get my arms away from the sides of my body and occasionally cue the band. But I do. I love it. I do think it has always been there in some kind of way.
right.
Out comes Godzilla.
No, but it's awesome, and a lot of people, most people in this world will never have any idea what it's like to be the focal point of something like being on stage and performing and having people's attention and creating a vibe and an energy. Like, people don't get to experience that. Most people will always be a consumer, or you know what I mean, or watch. They won't be the person on stage.
Or like us, we're the supports. I'll never know what it's like to front a band. I don't want to know. It's not my thing, not my calling in life. Not at all.
I just love to sing. I just love to sing. I mean, if anybody is there to hear it, that's great.
Are you guys actively working on a project?
You mean like another recording?
Recording, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've started pre-production up in the studio on some more songs. I have a lot of work.
We got a great producer.
But we've started working on the next batch of songs.
Figured out the direction. What do you expect to put in or get out of this one?
You know what? We do have about 4 songs that have a similar
energy
feel as a collective. But I don't think we ever create a song so far with an idea of like, we want to make a certain genre, style of song. Kenny comes to me with an idea of, chord progression and things he's working on. What do you think? And 9 times out of 10, I say it's dynamite. He rarely comes up with something that I don't really jive with. But then we start, working on those ideas and writing lyrics, and they just kind of come out the way they come out. Or sometimes I get a melody in my head, and I'll bring it to him, and we try to develop that.
Yeah, she'll put each member of this band, but specific to what Gretchen will do. If I come to her with look, I've got this idea, like any one of our songs, but like the bridge, okay. I played it for her, and then she starts singing these lyrics that I would have never thought, not only of the lyrical content, but her melodic structure and her timing is completely different. So it's become a really cool energy. And then when Randy comes in, and Randy brings this just incredible bass work to it. When I listen to what Randy does in the studio, I'm blown away. I am blown away.
We've called him a couple times. I've called him a couple times on my way home from work, listening to a track from the studio, going, "Dude, your bass work in the studio is
we're calling him up on the phone. We love you, man. You're beautiful." And then when Tim
was on a fire truck somewhere.
Tim was on a fire truck.
No, man. Timmy was on the fire truck. We grabbed him off. But Timmy has been a friend for a while, and he offered to come in and help us. And I had done a couple of jam sessions with Timmy and knew he could play. But our nickname for Timmy is the ICEMAN, because he hardly ever makes a mistake. He's like a machine. He learns it, he memorizes it, and now when I drop a part, I'll look at Timmy and he'll go, yeah, you screwed that up, Ken. Yeah, but Timmy,
I don't say it out loud, I just give you the look.
he gives me the look, right? He just gives me the look.
That's what happened when you've been drumming since 6 months old. Like, it's not fair.
So we're really fortunate in the support that we are able to give to Gretchen on stage, and then it really gives her a freedom to perform. And Randy and her are really a pretty dynamic duo up front.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's everything to have these guys. I always say if it weren't for you guys, I would just be singing in the car, you know.
So has
a green car.
Most definitely in the green car.
Has anybody ever had an idea that realized that it wasn't original? You ever played something and thought that you came up with it and didn't realize?
Funny you bring
shit,
that up.
That's that
Yeah,
thing from the thing.
all the time.
Yeah, I mean, these
All
guys,
the
like,
time.
if I bring a riff to the band, like, Randy will say something like, well, you can fight that out with Carlos Santana.
Like, I'm not getting involved in that fight.
That was a recent one.
Or another one of the songs on our EP, the way it started, which it wound up a lot different. He said, "You know, Tom Petty's going to come haunt your ass for that." You know, so
But
Yeah.
Randy also reminded us everything comes from somewhere.
Somewhere,
Right.
absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, these are progressions. These are ideas. You
Right.
start somewhere. A lot of the times, you know, especially when the recording process or performing and having live music, you make something out of nothing. But it's not absolutely nothing.
no, you have all of us.
There's something else there.
Absolutely.
Whether you're aware of it or not.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
and we
Yeah.
acknowledge that. You know, like we're working on a new song that's definitely a tip of the hat to Carlos Santana, who's been a huge influence on me, since since before I played guitar. You know, I remember sitting and listening to Santana's Abraxas album. It was like, what the fuck is this, man? I mean, and I was growing up around a lot of Puerto Rican and Haitian. There was a lot of Hispanic music in my neighborhood, you know. But when I heard Santana crank that SG up, and oh my goodness, man, because he was mixing blues and salsa and mariachi. It was all like, Tito's music. It was all coming in there. So, but I will gladly tip my hat to Carlos Santana and say thank you.
Yeah, you just don't want to fight. We don't,
No,
no,
fight.
no,
we
no,
don't
no.
want to fight that.
No,
I don't want to take.
We don't want to fight that.
Nor do I want to take credit. you
Right,
know, but,
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll make
Absolutely.
something out of what he gave us. To say, and
That's
Albert
common.
King used to say when he. I don't know if you guys know who Albert King was, but he used to say, "Take it further." He was a famous blues guitar player, and another huge influence on me. And he used to say, "Don't get stuck in the tradition. Take what we give you and take it further."
Yeah.
And so that's what we try to acknowledge until Randy tells me that Carlos is going to sue me.
So yeah, and then just blows the whole thing.
Right.
But I mean, take it further. From his perspective, he's acknowledging the inevitable.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I'm heavy into hip hop and on the scene in the city with a lot of things. And one thing I realized early on was that my generation started talking like the generation before us.
That's
we
right.
didn't like what the kids was doing with our thing. And it sounded crazy to me because I wasn't old enough to have forgot that was a struggle. You know what I mean? To be like, no, but this is, and you probably like it if you would give it a chance, or you might not.
Right.
But it's opening this thing up to a different audience, is giving it longevity. Somebody
It's
just got a
personal.
check that might not have got a check off of that song in a long time. You know what I mean? Like, these things are part of what keeps this thing going.
Absolutely, it's personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of us. It's in our molecules now. You know, it's who we are.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so
And it's an evolution, you build on all that past stuff and keep it moving forward.
But and speaking of evolution, everybody plays an instrument and could play multiple genres. How do you guys decide? Like, what is the ultimate? Is it based on the show? What your set is going to be, as far as performing live spaces, or is it a mood? Is it
We just sort of had this conversation last night, I think.
because I mean, there's a lot of voices. I know one's louder than everybody else's, but
It's been that way for a long
me,
time.
again, being a drummer, I thrive on and enjoy backing up great front, great front talent.
Absolutely.
First down front. I thrive on that. I love
Absolutely.
it. So it's like, what do you want to do, Gretchen? And I'll be happy in my place just backing you up.
yeah, because you can do it and you're not gonna miss a goddamn
Well, and part of it,
ICEMAN. I like it.
Yeah.
I hate that it's the opposite of fire, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
maybe that's what we need, like that balance
Yeah.
between the ice and the fire. But we've Only in the past, I don't know, over the past year, as we've been developing more originals, have we gotten to a point where we can play a full set of originals and have some to spare. So we did, you know, for example, for the Second Street Festival, that was an all original set.
Yes.
So we tailored that to what we wanted to, you know, really come and rock out for 45 minutes.
And it felt like you intended it to when you were doing it?
Yeah, or you're asking me? Yeah. Yeah.
That's dope.
But, you know, I mean, we play all different kinds, you know, bar gigs, acoustic gigs, festivals, and, you know, we have tailored it to the setting or how many sets we need to play, how much material we need, what sort of
because arrangement is important too for the flow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think our strength, we have done some acoustic shows. Sometimes Kenny and I have worked as a duo. Sometimes we've been an acoustic trio, but I think our passion and our strength really centered in the electric band.
Yeah.
What's the favorite event that you guys have done together, and what was the biggest?
Well,
The biggest,
was it Harrisburg or?
it could have been, what was it, Harrisburg?
Harrisburg, that wasn't
It was
the
I think it was the wine.
that wasn't the honeymoon.
No. No, that was Memphis.
Memphis was the honeymoon. Okay, all right.
So that was pretty big too.
That was an incredible experience.
The International
I remember that
Blues
story.
Challenge. Yeah, that was huge. I mean, we were competing with over 120 bands from all over the world. So that was
Man,
that was a
great.
life-changing experience just on a personal level. What's been our favorite? I mean,
Well, I would say one of the most
June Jam was
June Jam was big. I mean,
that was great.
I would say probably some of the most things that left an impression on us was definitely. I would absolutely say Second Street Festival.
Is up there?
Oh yeah. You guys did phenomenal job. We played a couple of festivals, and we've done the Riverfront Blues Festival 4 times now, and that's always a fantastic experience.
That's a
And
good vibe.
Gino Fontana has been kind enough to bring us back there. But different festivals have different feels. You know what I mean?
I would imagine so.
So I would say probably the Riverfront Blues Festival is one of the biggest we've played. Second Street's one of the biggest we've played. We played, what was that one? Is it Harrisburg? What was that
I think
called?
it was Harrisburg, the Wine and Blues Festival.
Wine and Blues Festival. That was a
That
lot
was
of
pretty
people
big,
there for that.
too. I think Second Street is maybe the biggest in terms of the numbers of people.
Yeah, thousands of people
and,
out there.
and
that
that
kind
kind
of
of
thing.
thing. I mean, that was pretty huge.
But the thing that was cool about Second Street, and also when we played in, I keep saying West Virginia, and you keep correcting me.
I do? I keep correcting you?
Yeah, that's right.
What?
But we experienced a professional sound company in Harrisburg, and the job that you guys did at Second
Pro
Street was
Audio?
phenomenal.
Oh, they were great.
No, they were awesome.
They were so great to work with. They did a great job. Are you talking about Cumberland?
Cumberland, that was it. Yeah, that was a
out to
professional
Frank.
sound company.
Shout out to Frank.
The people that had just done AC/DC came over and ran the sound that
Wow.
day. So I mean,
Wow.
I was on the ball. I turned my amp on 10. I was like,
Wow.
yeah, turn that Les Paul up, turn that amp up, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
It was a great show. Yeah, we had a good time there. Yeah,
Great.
and I drove back through a snow blizzard. Oh, that was a different.
That was Cumberland.
That was Cumberland.
That was Cumberland.
So we played
That was a
Cumberland
Winter
twice.
Blues
Right.
Festival.
Right.
Yeah. So, I guess going back through the catalog, it gets
No, because
it's hard to remember.
you've done quite a bit, and I mean, the bad times probably stick out more than anything, and I'm sure it's not that many of those.
No,
So it's
mostly
like,
good.
I don't think. I mean, I you know, like I had said earlier, you know, there are always those things you say, well, I wish I had or we had done this better or differently or whatever. But that's all stuff to build on.
about to say some
and to
things are
learn
part of
and
course.
Grow. It's
Yeah.
rock and roll. It's live music. So it's that's part of the nice, it's like you get a flaw in some wood or a piece of glass or something. It makes it special.
It's like walking a high
But-
wire act.
It is. It's like being on a tightrope. But I don't think there are like really any negative times that stick out to me.
I like that. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, part of that is because of just what you said. You respect that things come with it. So you know that it's not always going to be perfect.
Right.
And also, like, when I go to a live show, as many times I heard the album, I don't really want it to sound just like the album
Exactly.
in front of me. You know what I mean? Like, do something, give me, make me say, oh shit, they
Well-
did that.
Right,
Like,
right.
even if it's an accident,
That's
it might,
cool.
it might roll.
And one of the things Kenny has said to me early on when we started playing together in Red House was, this is sandbox time. This is where we get to create and build sand and tear things down
After
we're gonna
telling you to
make
focus.
it what we make it.
After telling you to focus, he said, now let's just play
the
with
focus
shit.
comes before, and then you gotta let it all go and just have a blast.
That is part of the process, though, because you have to get somewhere to be able to have the freedom to play
But
around
to
with shit.
elaborate on that too, the sandbox does not necessarily mean a Mr.
Playtime.
Rogers experience. Sandbox can be a very dangerous place. Okay, so
This
you
is
come
true.
into our sandbox. The question you need to ask yourself is, how am I going to approach this person? You know, is this person going to be nice to me, or is this person going to throw his guitar at me? You know? To a degree, obviously that's I'm using that as an example. Art should challenge people. I don't care what genre it is. We should challenge people, ourselves and people, and that's our song. The Bridge is about. It's about what's your bridge.
It's like the second, third time you referenced that song.
Yeah, when will you when will you look in your heart? And if we scare you a little bit to do that, that's a good
Good.
thing.
Yeah.
Not make you feel threatened, but scare you,
No,
like push
right.
you a little bit. We're not here to necessarily make you feel warm and fuzzy. There's other kinds of groups that do that.
It's hard to grow in comfortability.
That's the thing I love about hip hop, by the way. The hip hop really
Expand.
gets to the point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's intentional that way.
Yeah, reggae was
For
same
better or
thing.
worse. But it's intentional that way.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. Music should make you feel something.
Something.
Absolutely.
So that's always my MO, performing and writing and developing a record is this. If this music makes me feel something, I want to share that with other people. Hopefully they'll feel something too. When we're out playing live, I hope that I'm able to translate, what I'm feeling across. Because music is, it's fun. It makes you, want to get up and dance or just chill out or whatever. And I find that a valuable valuable tool.
I think that the importance of music is underrated. Like, what's life without a soundtrack is one of the quotes that I like. But it's like, I remember being in vacation Bible school, and I had a vacation Bible school teacher that was a Christian rapper, and it was in the old days, so he sounded like Gravediggers a little bit with his style. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like he was like that, but he could spit, and I was rapping on the low, so I respected it, and we had some conversations. But he said, you got to be careful with music because it's transitive. It lulls you. It makes people, pick up things that they wouldn't normally sit through. He said, and then these are the old days, but he said, look at porn. All of them had sound beds back in the day because it was taboo for people to just listen to sex. You see what I'm saying? So they had soundtracks. Yeah, and it's like, it makes you watch longer. A lot of religions, their prayers are over music. Their prayers actually sound like music or music. You see what I mean? There's a lot of Islam and things like that for the same reason. Because then it gets into, it's a way of learning and retaining it.
Resonates in your bones.
And retaining it.
Yeah.
And
It's
I think
right.
that's something that people don't understand sometimes.
Right. We use the construct of notes and voices and different instruments and drums, but really what we're doing is it's all a metaphor for that which can't be described. Okay, it's
I like
all
it.
a metaphor, and whatever genre gets you there, but it should get you somewhere.
I think that one of the biggest things you can do in life is not pigeonhole yourself into a type of music.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that you realize about music, no matter how much you love whatever song it is, every mood is in for that song. You don't want to ride to your car
That's true.
every day
Yeah.
to the same exact
Right.
energy because you don't feel the same
No.
every day. And you know what I mean? No
Yeah,
matter
it should be
how much you
variable.
love it,
Yeah.
That's right.
it's not going to always work for you.
Right.
That's right.
So if the more that you make yourself receptive to, then you have a lot of options of vibes and energies and ways to change your energy or balance your energy.
I'm
I
glad
should
you
say.
said that because I don't know about these guys, but I know we all work. We come to rehearsal after work 99.9% of the time, and sometimes not feeling real well, either emotionally or physically. And I know there have been times when I've been sick, like literally been feeling sick before rehearsal, and we go in, we have rehearsal, and we start playing, and by the time we're done, I'm better. Like so, it's physically and
Therapeutic.
emotionally transformative, absolutely therapeutic. Because I know there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, I don't want to have rehearsal, or I don't want to play, but we do, and I know we all feel that way. It's normal. You're just beat down after work, but
The last couple relationships that I've had, whenever I guess I must be being an asshole or something, they say, when the last time you went to the studio? You don't want to go to the studio? When you gonna go record? Like they say something like
your
that,
medicine.
and I'll be
It's-
like, damn,
yeah.
I really need to go get my shit off. You know what I'm saying? Like
You should get
it's coming
Sammy.
through my pores now. Like
Yeah. While they're handing you your hat, car key,
yeah,
and
it's
here's a
just-
6-pack.
You want me to call him? Just go ahead. I'll cash app.
Yeah, set it up for you.
How many hours should I do?
There
As
now.
many as you want.
As a matter of fact, we're going to have them come get you.
I think as musicians, you go through that because all the people I know, it's in them. It's in their system. It's in their blood, and it's a huge integral part of their life. And without that, it's just like being like a person who jogs or goes to the gym.
Exactly.
If you don't have that, or if you don't do that for a while, you're kind of off kilter, kind of off balance a little bit, until you go in and you do it. And I was like,
Yes.
yeah.
Because when I was young and I didn't partake in any, smoking or drinking, any of that, like, I always had a temper or whatever. But if I got to play basketball and run around and push people and curse and yell for a couple hours, it was like that day never happened before that. Like, I was fine again. You know what I mean? It was like a reset for me. And
Yeah.
if that was to be taken away from me, that would make me worse.
Yeah.
Telling me that I couldn't play ball would make it worse. So that was now replaced with music. But it's not the same routine. I don't have 3 teams I'm playing for, and you have to go to practice 5 days a week and play. It's up to me when I get in the studio. I got to pay to go in there, and then I'm running around doing things like this. And in the meanwhile, sometimes it just gets away from you, and the people
Yeah.
next to you realize it first. Like,
Yeah.
go be creative, invent,
right.
and do some shit.
That's
You know,
right.
one of the things that I mentioned this a little earlier, that we've experienced in recording with our own material, is we were going through a period of time where we were very frustrated with the recording experiences we had together. We didn't feel like anybody was getting it.
I had a feeling that it was the third party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then
we
we
just never
met
got the
our
product we
producer
wanted.
through a mutual friend.
That's
who-
why you keep praising him.
Yeah. Well, this
Yeah,
guy
he
was.
really
You
is
talk about a
the best.
reset. This guy, his name Derek Chafin, Barn Studios.
Salute to him.
Incredible. He's like Mr. Rogers with laser eyes. Yeah, I know, man. Well, by that, what I mean is, he's so nice and laid back, but he is no joke. And I mean, this cat has worked with some of the heaviest people in the industry. We didn't know any of this. He doesn't brag. We had to learn all this
Yeah.
from other people.
Yeah.
But-
But most of them
yeah.
are like that.
Yes.
Most of them are like that.
He is very humble.
What do you mean? He worked with Prince? Are you kidding me?
Don't say the P word. I mean,
That
like,
is where he learned.
Prince
you
is the
know,
holy
his
grail,
craft.
ain't he?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah, but Derek will get. He has a vision, and he knows where he wants a song or a project to go, and he will get from you or you or you or you what he needs to.
Just
to
imagine
make
the
that
pressure.
sound right.
The pressure is being under the artist, Prince, right? He has to. He's gonna hate you if you don't do this right, or if y'all don't get this right.
Right.
Like, and he has the finest tuned ear
Yeah.
out of everybody.
Oh yeah.
Once you can appease him with a group,
Yeah.
you good for life.
You're golden.
You're good for life
Yeah.
because everything's gonna be Prince scrutiny. That's like just trying to play next to LeBron. Like
Yeah.
like
That's a good analogy.
not allowed to have a turnover. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you're not. You got to be ice.
You gotta be the Iceman.
Got to be the
So
Iceman.
we're in the studio, and I don't know, and Derek, he was just like I call him Mr. Rogers. He's like, yeah, he can fire you from a session and make you feel
You feel
wonderful.
good. Yeah. Make you
But-
feel so good.
When you hear what he does, he would say, well, why don't you try my guy, Ken? Yeah, okay. So now Derek and I have this running joke, like, I'm going to win the next argument, man. He's always right. His judgment is he's very wise and very experienced, and he's a brilliant artist in his own right. So, all that being said, what he has done for us is acknowledged our songs and said, you have good ideas here. You
Yeah.
guys have something that I want to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, are you talking to us?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
That's really validating.
It
And
really made
Absolutely.
it took us to a whole nother level.
when
Absolutely.
when we first met him, and we just first went and talked with him. We didn't like book time
Mm-hmm.
or go to record or anything, and we just talked. And
Because
that-
bosses get consultations first. I know.
yeah, bosses get consultations first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
well,
said, we're not coming to do nothing over there until you talk to us.
no,
Everybody else got to pay for that.
we gotta sign you up. But that went well, and then we started pre-pro and went in to record, and we said, look, we're gonna give you one song, and if that comes out well, we'll think about doing more. And he said, if you just trust me,
Yeah.
because producer, they want you to do different things. They want you to slow it down or speed it up or play the bass different way or have a certain drum beat or various things. And he said, just trust me. And we did. And that was
Yeah.
If Love Were Enough, which is the title of the EP.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the title track. And we were thrilled.
Yeah.
We just were stunned at how well that came out. And we're like,
The
all
reason-
right, Derek, I guess you're all right.
The reason
we'll come
it's
back
so-
in for 3 more.
It's so important to mention him here is because he's as much a part of this group
Absolutely.
as, and he's not here right now. So
Engineers, producers, DJs, I always want to make sure that they're acknowledged.
absolutely, man.
Writers. You know what I mean? Because,
Absolutely.
like you say, Gretchen Emery Band, and then y'all come out. And
Band.
there's other
Yeah.
people that's not
Right.
there.
Right. There you go.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
Come on,
over there.
Lisa.
we
Go, girl.
we want to acknowledge
Yeah.
everybody, just like
Yeah.
I'm always nodding to K, because none of this is what it is without Font Productions behind
Yeah.
it. You see what I'm saying?
It's a group effort.
It has to
without
be.
a doubt. It has to be. And Tim wasn't working with us at the time. Derek had Eric Johnson on drums on the recording, and brought in some session players for horns and fiddle, viola, and we couldn't be more grateful to that whole group of folks that made those songs what they are now.
So he sent us in one song, "Don't Say Goodnight." He sent us some saxophone tracks. Now this cat that he has playing saxophone, who did he play with? Well, anyway, somebody really big, like Whitney Houston or
Yeah,
something.
because he knows all the hitters.
So yeah, exactly. That's my point. So he sends us this track, and I call him up the next day and say, "Derek, I hate it. It's awful." And he's listening. Oh, okay. He's on and on, just listening to me. And I said, "What do you think?" And he says, "Oh, it's brilliant." He said, "Just trust me. When I'm done, you'll see what I want, what I'm after." And when it got done, it's like, this can't be the same track, and it is. It was the same notes, the same player. It's the context You know, and that's, well, I guess what a producer does. You know, is,
Basically.
Right,
I mean,
so-
the good ones, the great ones, do it the right way. But it's because they hear what you don't hear. You listen to the same thing
That's
that you
right.
listen to, and you didn't.
That's right.
I mean, I've watched the guy come up
That's it.
steps, and you know, you think he's just, you know, he's hearing the song, but no, he's listening. And he comes up when he come up the steps, he's got a notepad, but where he's just taking notes the whole entire time. And he's just, okay, well, I think you should do this and this. Randy, listen, I need you to do here.
right.
And it's not just stuff that's in general. It's very, very specific, and you know, and to the song and to what you're doing.
Yeah,
Break down
it's not
each
about
and
what he
every singular
prefers.
person.
It's about what makes the most sense. through
But he
his-
typically hears it. That's not a lot of things you get from an engineer. Not all engineers are producers. And not
That's
all
true.
producers are
Trust me, I know it.
So you know, so when you're blessed enough to have a person who is actually able to do both. And you know,
Yeah.
and he's right in there with you the whole time.
Yeah, we got very lucky.
That's one of my biggest things. I
Shout
need
out
feedback.
to Derek.
You know, I want feedback. If I'm in the studio and you on one side of the computer and I'm on the other side of the computer, I need to hear something sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not too proud. I need that, and especially if it's your production. If you made the beat for me, then we gonna get through this together for real. Because I wanted to come out, even if my idea isn't what your idea was when you made
Absolutely.
it. Let's do
And
something
you want
dope
it to
together.
Be the best
Yeah.
of you and the best of the
Of
group
both
and
sides.
the best of everybody that it can possibly be. So please push me. You
Well,
know,
it's all about
to make it
relationships. Yeah, music is always about relationships. Whether you have a relationship with your producer or with the other band members or the people that are moving you when you're playing your instrument.
But I'm gonna tell you the disconnect. A lot of DJs, a lot of producers, a lot of engineers, a lot of band members strategically place themselves in the background for a reason. And it's because they're socially awkward. And it's because they'd rather not, or because they'd rather not be bothered with certain things. So when they're when there's somebody that you need feedback from, they're stuck on that sometimes. Like, you know, like, it's your thing. Whatever you like. You good with it? And it's like, yeah,
Then
we
there's
can't
no-
get rich like this. Like, it's not going to work. But it's really because they're caught into whatever it was that made. Because a lot of times these guys could be the singer. They could be the front person. They place themselves behind this wall intentionally, and you're breaking that wall. And if you're not familiar enough with them for them to want to melt that ice,
Right.
it's a rough ride.
Yeah, it is a rough. Yeah,
It's a
I've
rough
been there.
ride.
Oh man, I've been
Yeah.
there. I've done session work, and sometimes you walk in and it's cold as ice, baby. You know, and they expect you to throw down and play on fire, and it's cold. It's like, wow, you know, I'm not feeling this, man. You know,
But that's why y'all get consultation meetings first and all of that
That's
shit.
right, and pre-pro and the whole thing. You bet.
Must be nice.
Can I just acknowledge these players that
Please,
were on
go
by
ahead.
name because really, you know, without the additional parts, I think the songs. I don't know. They just took on a whole other quality when Derek brought horn players and the violin.
So who we
player.
got?
So Valerie Vuolo was on violin and viola.
brilliant job.
And,
Her name sounds like she plays anyway.
and it just does kind of roll off. The tongue. Valerie Vuolo on viola and violin.
Yep.
Thank you, Valerie. And Kenny Kearns was on keys on B3 and
Brilliant job.
Wurlitzer.
Yeah.
Steve Jankowski's on horns, and Jay Davidson was on sax.
Mm-hmm.
And Derek Chafin even played a little secondary guitar on the tracks as well. And Randy on bass, and Eric Johnson on drums. And then we brought Tim in later for live stuff because we wanted a fireman in the band, and finally got one.
Fireman, fire for fireman. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Projected release for the next project. When are you looking? Season,
Oh
year?
my goodness. Projected release, he said, for the next project.
Well,
Wow,
it'll definitely
we're in
be
pre-pro
next year.
now, so
I mean, do you
It's
know
a
what,
ways
what
off.
what season you might want to do it, or is it like when it's done we'll get there?
We're going to hope for April, May next year. Yep.
That's fine.
I would say when it's done, we'll get there, because every time I think we're gonna meet a deadline, there's more.
But
to
we've learned
do,
a lot.
but
We've learned a lot.
We have
too.
learned a lot. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Sometimes setting a date helps though,
It does.
That's true.
and it doesn't have to be in stone because you're not signed to a major. You just,
right.
you know, you're not beholding to it.
Yeah,
But
Right.
sometimes it just helps.
yeah.
It just
We've
helps.
learned the value of pre-production work,
Mhm.
of getting
Absolutely.
in there with the producer 2-3 times,
Mhm.
running through the tunes, and brainstorming on it there. And then, when you go to do the cuts, you're doing it live in the studio. We're playing live. And, it just makes it sail right through.
Mhm.
So we've learned a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want you guys everybody to let everybody know how to or maybe it's an overall thing, but how to keep in contact with you guys, how to book you, how to see what all you have going on and so forth, and your previous work, how to catch up to that too, the things that you have on Spotify and things now already.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you're asking for those?
Yes,
Is that what
please.
you're saying right
Yes,
now?
yes, ma'am.
That's what I should do.
Yes, ma'am.
So
I'm the one drinking, Gretchen.
I'm just trying to figure it all
No,
out.
I probably said it wrong. You good?
I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah,
You said it completely wrong.
horrible host. Who hired this guy?
So to find us, we have a website at
Mhm.
GretchenEmery.com. It's
Mhm.
EMERY. And on Instagram, it's Gretchen Emery Band.
Mm-hmm.
And Gretchen Emery Band on Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Spotify is also Gretchen Emery Band.
I have a very, very
Okay.
deep question.
Go.
Why isn't it the Gretchen Emery Band?
That
Interesting.
is great. That is a great question.
Now, mind you, I like that it's not, but it seems like it's always the before. Was that
No,
intentional?
When I write a sentence or something, like when I'm doing, contacting somebody about a festival or, give them my little, hey, this is us, I do add the because it just
feels
won't
like-
flow if I don't say the.
Well, a capital T or is it a small T?
Well, if it's at the beginning,
Well,
it just depends.
It's always a big G. Just know that. Just know it's always a big
I
G.
knew I loved you.
Well, I think when you put the in front of it, it almost objectifies it. I think when you say Gretchen Emery, you're pulled right into that.
That's what I'm like. I like how it flows without it, but just thinking about general,
Yeah, that's a good question.
it
Yeah.
really usually is the other way. But you know what? That's what it was. We don't need nothing
Yeah.
before the G.
No.
The G got to start.
And
that's
that was all
that's
his
where
fault
we
too,
at with it.
by the way. He's
Big
the
G.
one that said your name has to go in the band.
Yeah, we used
I
to
fought
be
it for a long time.
It was Gretchen Emery and Dirty
Dirty
Boots,
Boots.
or whatever.
Or it was
Red
Red
House.
House.
But it said enough of that nonsense. We're going with Gretchen Emery Band. So.
GEB. I love how you gentlemen are so intentional about her and her being the star
So
and
if it all goes south,
it's on her. It ain't say Tim the Iceman. Tim and the Ice Boys.
He's cool.
No, but I love it. You guys were a pleasure to work with a couple weeks back on when I met you guys.
Yeah, it was great.
It's been a pleasure so far being here, and
thanks.
I definitely wish everybody the best of luck, and I'm glad that you guys found each other, whether this is for a season or for the duration of what you guys plan on doing. You're gonna leave here have done something as a unit that's pretty special,
Thank you.
and I think that's
thank you.
important, and that's awesome, especially because ain't none of us 12 no more.
Yeah.
We need to be
That's a
we need to
fact.
be doing things that's going to mean something.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right there with you. Right there with you, brother.
I go back.
Nah,
And
but
shout out to you too. Thanks for coming.
Oh, no
Yeah,
problem.
Thanks for having us on.
And FYI, I'm not leaving. We about to have a jam session. We still rocking. But this has been another episode of Sippin' with Sammie. I am Sippin' with Sammie, Sam Malone, Barstool Rule. If you ain't sipping with Sammie, you ain't sipping right. Please get your fucking life together. And if you ain't rocking with Gretchen Emery Band,
All right.
man, that part.
There's a sound in the soil rising up in my bones, and I shudder that a man owns a man, 'cause he can. When the day leaves you lost and the world's upside down, oh, you thought, oh, you knew. Where is it now? Walk across the bridge. Walk across the bridge with me. And a little more. Come in a little. Do your dreams buy you time, or do the lies keep you safe? How much more double speak do you think you can make? Is that Sunday meeting song really you, or is that love you sang about only meant for a few? Walk across the bridge. Walk across the bridge with me. Bend a little more. Come bend a little. Am I just standing in the rain, talking only to myself? Or will your heart let you come? And will your heart let you go on this trip? Or will your heart let you come on? Tell me, how much longer? Walk across the bridge. Walk across the bridge with me. Bend a little more. Come bend a little. Walk across the bridge. Bend a little more. Walk across the bridge. Bend a little more. Walk across the bridge. Yeah. Bend a little more. Walk across the bridge. Yeah. Bend a little more. Walk across the bridge. Bend a little more. Walk across the bridge. Bend a little more. Walk across the bridge. Bend a little more.
And we must use this number to recommit ourselves to do all we can to finish the work. There's still work left to be done.